through our YouTube viewers, we praise God for you. We pray that we've been a blessing to you. We pray that in some way we play the role in helping you to have a closer relationship with our Lord and Savior. If you're looking for a church home or just visiting Philadelphia, we invite you to the Erie Avenue Baptist Church at 540 West Erie Avenue, where everybody is somebody and Christ is the head. Come on over here where the table is spread and the feast of the Lord is going on. Somebody say amen. 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 We want to thank Minister Solwell for leading us along the way. And thank him for reading of the word found in 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. Allow me to read the 23rd to the 26th verse. Amen. So I have received of the Lord that which also I deliver unto you, that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup, when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as you drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. We thank God for his blessed word. We pray that he bless the hearts of each and every one of you who have heard it. Amen. Amen. If I was to use the subject today, I would talk about the cup. The cup. I just want to talk about the cup today. Truly, as we come together on this Communion Sunday, we're mindful that this Sunday is extra special. Because it's a day that kind of culminates the Hearst family reunion. And we realize that throughout the weekend, there have been many stories that have been shared. Amen, somebody. I enjoyed my time on Friday evening. I kind of got a good laugh when they talked about the judging of the dessert. I went over my head at first, but then I caught on later on, Sister Howard, when he said the banana pudding won. Everybody started shouting. Then they said Lady Hester won first prize, and it got real quiet. Then as Brother Sly continued to talk, he said, Sister Howard made some banana pudding. Then he kept on talking, and somebody else made some banana pudding. And then he kept on talking, and somebody else made some banana pudding. And then there was a fifth person who made some banana pudding. And so now I understood that what the shout was about, because when he said the banana pudding won. Sister Howard wanted to make sure that everybody knew she still won, because she won second place. But it was a good time. And it's good that family come together and share stories, but it's also good that you pass them stories on even before the family reunion. Here, Jesus was setting up a tradition, and he said it is to be passed on from generation to generation. Sometimes we like to hold some stuff in. We want to share the good stories. But I believe that you also have to share some of them hard stories. Them stories of struggle. Them stories of hurt. So that those that are coming up behind you will understand and not take for granted, but have a greater understanding of the challenges that the family had overcome, so that their life could be the life that they now enjoy. Amen. I know sometimes, even when I preach, I tell my stories, and I have a bunch of them. And sometimes when my nieces and them here, they say they turn to their mother and say, "Did that really happen?" Because some of the stuff that we went through, it's hard for them to even imagine. The pioneers in the family have seen some stuff and have endured some stuff that we can never imagine. You know, you ever hear the young people say it's harder today than it was? Only sometimes we don't know if they could have made it. I'm just keeping it real. I don't know if they could have survived some of the stuff that we had to go through. I look at a lot of Westerns and I don't know, my family might have been right. I might have been dead by 25 because of the things that us as African Americans had to endure, and especially those down south. And so share them stories so that our young people, that when you're dead and gone, the memories and the challenges and the struggles will always be remembered. Jesus was coming to the end of his journey. And he wanted them to have yet another tradition that he wanted them to pass down. And so as we look to that dreadful Thursday night, as Jesus and the disciples sat around the table in the upper room, the gospel tells us that at the Last Supper, Jesus took the cup and he blessed it. Now, what we need to understand and realize is that this cup was part of Jesus' Last Supper as he celebrated the Passover with his disciples. In other words, he had gathered together. Some early Christians claim to have possessed the cup that Jesus used at the Last Supper, and they called it the Holy Grail. Stories and miracles were centered around this particular cup for many years. I'm an avid television watcher, so I look at a lot of shows, and I look at Nightfall, and I look at the Teslas that served, and their mission was to guard the Holy Grail. And I look at them shows, how people are trying to get it because they felt that the Holy Grail had power. Lives were taken because of this cup. Now, a contemporary writer named Thomas B. Constance wrote a novel, and I read it in college, titled The Silver Chalice. And this novel was built around the cup of Jesus, how it made its way to Antioch and many lives that it touched as it traveled along the way. In the Bible, the cup is referenced to the common drinking utensil that often played an uncommon role in people's lives. For example, there's a cup in the dream of Pharaoh's butler in Genesis 40. Joseph interpreted this dream for the butler. And then in Genesis 44, Joseph had a cup hidden in the grain sack of his brother Benjamin as Benjamin and Joseph's family left to go back home. And through this entrapment, Joseph later revealed to his brothers who he really was. At the Last Supper, Jesus took a cup and he blessed it as part of the Passover feast. And the cup has continued to be a part of the tradition of the Lord's Supper until today. Now, I'm going to talk about it later on, but we got to understand, this was not unusual. He made it special. I said it was unusual because this was the last cup at the dinner table. They had 4 cups, and this is what they called the cup of blessing. I'm going to give you that later, but this was called the cup of the blessing. But Jesus, he gave new significance to this cup. The cup in the Bible is also symbolic in many ways, and in some places the Bible refers to the cup of bitterness. Talks about the cup of agony, and even talk about the cup that overflows, which the writer of Psalm 23 noted. Think with me, if you will, about some of these symbolic cups to which the scripture refers. The first cup that I want to talk about is the cup of salvation. The psalmist wrote about the cup of salvation in Psalms 116:13. He said, I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord. Well, through the death of Jesus, this cup is offered to all people. It overflows with the bounty of God's love. It overflows with his grace and his abundance. The salvation from this cup has overflowed and run down through the centuries to where you and I can now drink and partake of this cup. And we can do it freely because of his grace. Like a person standing with a cup under a waterfall. There is no way that our cup can contain all the wonder that comes from God's love. God's salvation is beyond our understanding, and like David, our cup runneth over, and it runs abundantly, and it runs free, because it is the cup of the new covenant, which brings me to my second point. The cup of the new covenant. You see, as we come to the communion table, let us be reminded of the cup of the new covenant. Jesus shared the Passover meal with his disciples, and then he lifted his cup to proclaim the beginning of a new era. The beginning of a new tradition. The cup of blessing was traditionally the last thing at the sacred meal. And with this cup raised high, Jesus declared that this cup was a sign of the new covenant. Yes, it was here that he had established a new relationship with his disciples. The old Sinai covenant, which was built on the sacrifice of animals, was now over. The covenant was one of the great Old Testament images. It appears 286 times from Genesis 17 to Revelation 21. A covenant was made with Abraham and with Moses at Mount Sinai. The covenant that God made with Israel was often broken by the Israelites and reaffirmed by God. Jeremiah promised that a new covenant would come, and this covenant would be a law written within the hearts of man. Yes, Jesus declared that he had established a new covenant by his blood. Jesus was saying that his death was a sign, a symbol of the outpouring of life and the creation of a new relationship with God. Today we can relate to God differently because Jesus has made this way to God possible for us. He said that he is the way, the truth, and the life, and that no man can come unto the Father but by him. His new covenant was the one that Jeremiah said will be written in our hearts. The cup is a sign of the new covenant, a new relationship with God brought about by Jesus Christ. He alone who is the way, the truth, and the life. And he suffered this for you, and he suffered it for me. Let us look in the cup and see this as we move to my third point. I'm moving kind of quickly, guys. Thirdly, we have the cup of suffering. That's a hard one. As Jesus bowed in agony in the Garden of Gethsemane, he prayed, "O Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me." But what cup was he talking about? The cup of suffering. The cup of agony that he was getting ready to drink from. The cup of death. What cup? The mother of two of Jesus' disciples said to him, "Lord, let my sons have the chief seats in your kingdom." And Jesus expressed to them, he said, you don't even know what you're asking. But are you able to drink of this cup? They said, "Lord," but they really did not know what it was. And so the question for you today is, are you able to drink the cup of suffering and agony that Jesus did? That's what Jesus asked us. It's easy to say yes when we really don't know if we can. Most of us have dealt with some suffering. Matter of fact, if we were to be honest, some of us are dealing with some suffering right now. Some of us have some ailments that God allows us to do stuff in that some folk just can't. Can you drink from the cup? When the world is weighing you down, can you still get up and do what God has challenged you to do? I often talk about fibromyalgia, and I say many people that have fibromyalgia, they can't dress themselves, they can't wash themselves, they cringed in the bed, but God's grace I'm able to do everything I want to do because of the power of the blood. Because I'm willing to drink from that cup and get up and go forth and do the work that he charged to my hand and to my heart. Can you drink from the cup? When your relationships seem to be all tangled up and you're all bottled down, seems like the world is pressing you to the ground, but can you rise up and drink from the cup? When pain have you bound and you're sitting there asking God to give you a certain level of comfort. Do I got any witnesses that every now and then you're just looking for a comfort? Lord, if you just give me 5 minutes. Just that holler. I get 16 to 30 needles from my neck down to my waist just so I can walk around without pain. Came to a point where one doctor said, I don't want to keep giving sticking you like a pin cushion. He said, some people say that the needles don't help them. I said, well, I don't care what other people say, but I get about a week's worth of relief. Give me my needles. It's in other words, you want comfort where you can find it. I'm just saying, your afflictions, your pains, your struggle, they don't have to define who you are. When you drink from the cup, you realize who you belong to. And you let the Christ in you work within you, that something on the inside demonstrates itself on the outside. Now, I know that's not how the old folks say it. They say something on the inside, working on the outside. But I like to say something on the inside demonstrate itself on the outside. I don't know about you, but I thank God that he gives us the power to drink from the cup of suffering. And if you ain't suffered yet, oh, I'm not the only one that heard that. Just keep on living. Because I got news for you. I know I'm not a TV evangelist. I ain't going to tell you when you come to Christ everything's going to be all right. I ain't going to tell you send me $1,000 and all your troubles will be over. Because my Bible lets me know that the closer I get to Christ, the more the devil has desire to sift me at wheat. If I'm already out there, he don't have to bother me. But the more I try to be like Jesus, if you can't get me, you'll go after my family. Can't get my family, go after my job. You can't get my job, you go after the church. Whatever you can to try to weigh it down. But thank God that this battle, I got some Bible readers in the house. Battle's not ours, it's the Lord. Why should I worry when he said the man that is born of woman have but a few days? And they full of trouble. Then he sent the psalmist by to whisper in my ear that in a time of trouble, ain't that a comfort? He said, I will be a present help. Then he said, just in case y'all ain't getting none of that, no weapon formed against the righteous shall prosper. And every tongue that rise up in judgment shall be condemned. I don't know about y'all, but that's good news. Then he said, oh, y'all don't get it yet? He said, let me say this to you. No good thing will I withhold. Oh, I got some Bible readers in the house. From them that love me, that are called according to my purpose. But then there's my life verse. Found over there in 1 Peter the 10th, the 5th chapter, the 10th verse. He said, after you have suffered a while, the God of all grace, he will settle you. He will establish you. He will perfect you, and He will strengthen you. And so I know when I'm drinking, I'm just hoping somebody pick up a cup. When I'm drinking, I know that there's some power in the cup. I know some folk, they be drinking out the wrong cup, but in the cup that I drink out of, there's some power in the cup. And so the question is, can you drink from that cup of substance? But church, I wish I could take my time. We need to recognize and realize that the Lord's Supper was instituted within a context of suffering. You see, Jesus knew that He would soon be betrayed and that He faced the agony of the cross where He would take on all our sins upon Himself. And the question is, are we able to share in the suffering, to be His instruments, to reach out in love to those that we come in contact with and touch them with a finger of mercy? You see, we are challenged by Paul to be ministers of reconciliation, to share the suffering of Christ. But the question is, are we able to do it? In every family, there's a need for forgiveness. In every family, there's a need for reconciliation. What you talking about, Pastor? There's people within the family, they got problems with other people in the family. And some of them have forgot why they got problems with them. But God said that we ought to reconcile one another. In other words, we have to learn how to be understanding. See, if I know I'm dealing with some stuff, and I know that you're dealing with some stuff, I know I want to be encouraged. And because I want to be encouraged, I should be what? An encourager. Because when we start encouraging, He said, when you bless somebody else, you get blessed. And so when I encourage somebody else, so I got to look past what you may have done to me. Why do you say I have to look past it, Pastor? Well, think about your life. Remember how I talked about how I used to be? If God had not forgiven me for the offense that I was to Him, I wouldn't be here right now to share His word. But God, that while I was yet a sinner, He loved me. And because He did that for us, we should be willing to do it for one another. What are you talking about, Pastor? I'm talking about breaking down the walls so that love abounds. You see, because when our young people start seeing us forgiving, because our young people are paying attention. They're listening to what you say. They're looking at your face, because you know some of us, our face tell. You ever see somebody, they talking about somebody, and somebody's face just crawl up. And you sitting on the side like, what's that all about? Did I miss something? You ever been there when you're like, did I miss something? Why they snarl? And you start wondering. And the children, they're looking too. They're looking at your response. They're listening to your words. And see, so if you got a problem with somebody, they end up having, do I got any witnesses in the house? And so we got to be mindful how we carry ourselves. And as family, all we got.
That's right.
And so we got to get to a place of reconciliation and breaking down them walls of hardness. Breaking down them walls of jealousy. Yeah, I did say that. Some folk just jealous. Their lives are miserable. And my mama used to tell me something. I learned it when I got older. Misery was coming. And then in college, I learned another cliche. It said, hurt people hurt people. And so we got to be careful not to hurt people when we're hurt. And when life becomes miserable, we got to learn how to look to the hills. And we're called by help. God is right there with us. God, he says in the word, he'll keep us from falling. Yes. And I don't have to worry. I love when somebody talk about me. I love when they got a problem with me. Because the more evil and hatred and issues they have with me, the more God blesses me. I ain't got to get mad back. I ain't got to hate them back. I ain't got to try to find a way to hurt them or manipulate them in a way that's going to bring them disappointment. Because God said, I like this part, he said, I will make your enemy your footstool. What you saying, Pastor? Let them hate on you. And the more they hate on you, you love them. Here you always hear me say, you got to love them when love don't love you back. You love them anyhow. Love them to death till when they go to bed at night, their hearts start troubling them because they don't understand. Why are they still like, why are they still hugging me? Why are they still loving me? I can't stand them. And they always want to hug me. That trouble them. That trouble them. God will trouble. And you know, I say to my pornography, I say, Lord, prick their souls. Trouble their sleep. We just got to get to a place where we just give it to God. That's what God desires for us to do. And when we give it to God, we find that suffering really ain't all that hard. Because we're not suffering by ourselves. Think about it. Think about it. No matter what we deal with. Even when the times, and maybe y'all don't have these problems, but you know, I have these problems, Pastor. You know, when you're trying to pray and it seems like things just keep getting in the way. And the prayer, you're trying to pray just, then you're trying to pray and the sleep starts. You knock out and you wake back up and start praying all over again. And go to, I don't know if I'm the only one that had that problem, I'm just saying. But I have confidence that in the moments when I have problems praying, the Bible tells me that Jesus sits at the right hand of God interceding for me. Then Paul said that when we pray not as we ought to pray, the Spirit knows the heart and lends intercession for us. See, we got to know that we ain't in this thing by ourselves. Amen. What we are talking about as we move to my fourth and final point, as we come to a close, is a couple service. See, because when I love you back, I'm servicing you. I start tending to you. I become humble, even as Christ was. And so, as we come to the table, we're looking at this cup of service. Do you remember that what Jesus told his disciples in Matthew 10:42? He said, whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of the disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall no wise lose his reward. All of the other cups, the cup of salvation, the cup of suffering, the cup of the new covenant, it leads us to the awareness that having received such great love, we are now challenged to manifest compassion. We're now challenged to manifest mercy and love throughout our lives. Our Lord reached out to the needy and he reached out to the hurting. He has commissioned us to share the cup of compassion with him. We who have been reconciled by God are now to reach out to bring reconciliation to others through God's love and his grace. Earlier in my reflections, I talked about, as we looked at the Sunday school lesson, where he urged us that we as Christians, we need to stand up for those who can't stand up for them. When you see a need, you ought to try to meet that need. It boggles my mind, Brother Sly, that when I go to community meetings with all these crises and all these churches and everybody professing to be a Christian, that you only have 10 or 15 people in a community meeting. You can't impact change without people. And when the people of God decides to stand up and make a difference, we'll see our neighborhoods change. We'll see our communities change. We'll see our city change. We'll see God start putting the right people in the seats in the White House.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Because Lord knows the devil there right now. But even that, he ain't got no power. I'm just saying. He ain't got no power. Because God has all power. What you talking about, Pastor? Well, in our text, Jesus is offering us the Jesus cup. And if we drink of that cup, our challenge is to go into the world and to share the love of God with others so that they too might drink from his cup. This cup is one of service. The cup of service is one of self-giving. It's one of love. It's one of humility. It's one of compassion. It's one of empathy. To drink of Jesus' cup challenges us to be a part of the redemptive force in the world. And we share Christ's cup only as we are his instruments in ministry in the world. Whenever we give a cup of cold water to someone in need, we serve them our Lord Jesus Christ. And so as you eat the bread, reflect on the fact that Christ is the bread of life. As you drink the cup, remember that Jesus Christ is the one in whom you have life. As you drink, remember the cup of salvation and remember the Christ who has suffered, died, and given us salvation. Yes, reflect on the cup of suffering. Remember that you are united to Christ through the cup of the new covenant, that when you have finished eating his bread and sharing in his cup, remember that you now go to bear the cup of service in his name into the world. Tell them that there is a life in the cup. Proclaim that which you have received from the cup. Tell them about what God has already done for you. I don't know about you, but I'm going to tell them that when I pierce into the cup, I see the seed of woman. When I pass into the cup, I see the Passover Lamb of God. Yes, in the cup, I see our deliverer. I see he who was rejected, yet is the glorious King. When I look in the cup, I see the prayerful builder. When I look in the cup, I see my prevailing intercessor. When I look in the cup, I see he who is our Redeemer. Yes, in the cup, I see wisdom. In the cup, I see fulfillment. I'm looking in the cup, for in the cup, I see a refreshing dew. In the cup, I see my stronghold. In the cup, I see my sure anchor. In the cup, I see he who is my branch. Yes, in the cup, I see the Son of Righteousness. In the cup, I see the servant of Jehovah. In the cup, I see the conqueror of death. In the cup, I see truth incarnate. I see the word of life. I see the very last word of God. Yes, when I look in the cup, I see the supplier of all my needs. When I look in the cup, I see the head of the church. When I look in the cup, I see the coming of the Lord. When I look in the cup, I see truth personified. When I look in the cup, I see the believer's security. Yes, in the cup, I see the King of Kings and the Lord of Love. When I look in the cup, I'm reminded that one day, very soon, that same Jesus who rose on Sunday morning, who was singing in the heaven, that same Jesus, he's coming back for a church without a spot nor a wrinkle. He's coming back for his bride. I don't know about y'all, but I'm looking to that day when we get to that grand family reunion, where every day will be Sunday and the Sabbath shall have no end. Yes, when I look in the cup, I realize that one glad morning, when this life is over, I'm going to fly away to a home on God's terrestrial shore. Yes, I'm going to fly away when the shadows of life have had grown. I'll fly away just a few more weary days, and then I'll fly away. I'm going to that city every day. Will be Sunday. Sabbath will have no end. Till that day, I'm going to drink from that cup. Because in that cup, I got strength. I don't know about y'all, but it's the cup that keep me going, trying to leave this thing alone. But when I think about his goodness and all he done for me, my soul cries hallelujah, because he's been so good to me in the cup. Can you drink from the cup? Oh, I wanted to say this, but I don't say nothing else. If you don't drink from the cup now, you won't be a part of that family reunion. Y'all know that reunion. John said he saw a number that no man can number. I don't know about y'all. I don't care what place I have in that line. As long as I'm in it. I got a reservation without cancellation. See, on this side, make a reservation, you can cancel. But I got a reservation that I don't want canceled. I know some folk are sending up some timber. I heard some folks say that they just built it, you can just get a little shack. Y'all heard me sing the songs. But I stopped by today and said, ain't no shacks in heaven. He didn't tell me there was going to be no shack. He didn't even tell me there was going to be a room. He didn't even tell me there was going to be a house. But he said, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you so. But I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, there ye may be too. Oh, I got a mansion waiting for me on the other side. My home might not look like what I want it to look like. It might not have all kind of land around it. And don't have no service, brother Leroy. But on the other side, I'm going to have a mansion. They say after a certain day, you ain't supposed to wear no white. But they tell me over there, I'm going to have a white room. Over there, I ain't got to worry about, I'm trying to leave this thing alone. Over there, I ain't got to worry about no sickness. I ain't got to worry about no death. Matter of fact, he told me he's going to wipe all tears from my eyes. On the other side. Ain't got to worry about what I'm going to eat, because he said that on either side of the river that run down from the bloodstained sea of grace, he said there's 12 manners of fruit. I'm never going to be thirsty. Never going to be thirsty. On the other side. I don't know about y'all, but I'm looking forward. That don't mean I'm ready to go right now. But Pastor Howard, if he called me right now, I'm ready. Woo! I hear mother say this all the time. Just in case y'all get here before me. You can't crown me till I get there. Partake of that cup. Hold on like you have never held on. And whatever you're going through right now, know that you're not going through alone. God is right there with you, holding you up on every side. That people don't even understand. When they know what you're going through, they don't understand how you can walk around with a smile on your face. But tell them it's the Jesus in you. Because I have made up my mind to drink from the cup. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I am excited. I'm excited about what God is doing in the life of his people. So many are going through. Pastor Howard, I started a sermon called The roadmap of grace. And I'm only saying that right now because you said something. If I was to show you what I wrote down, it talks about how even as me and my wife, we travel different places. I said God allowed us to travel up and down the highway. And along the highway, sometimes we see accidents. Sometimes people even get close to us. But God always put a shield around. I'm reminded of a time when me and Minister Solwell was driving down the street. And I was getting ready to turn, and a car came all the way around and went into the lane for us. And the only way the car did not hit us is because God moved the car out of our way. And so we got to look at them times how God, even as y'all travel, how God has kept you from all unseen earth. Hallelujah. Keep praying for one another. Keep loving on one another. And if anybody brought offense to you, go tell them you forgive them. They might not be strong enough, and pride might get in the way to keep them from coming to you. But you go tell them, I forgive you. And why do you say that? I'm trying to leave this thing alone. Why do you say that, Pastor? I say it because, see, sometimes people offend you, and they don't even know they did it. You be upset with them, be mad with them, they don't even know why your attitude changed towards them. Something they said, something they did. And they didn't mean you no harm. And now you're walking around with this hardness in your heart. Hardness will keep you from being in tune with Christ. And so if they offended you, go let them know so they can reconcile one with another. That's what the Bible says, right? If one offends you, go to them with meekness and reconcile with them. Family, love on each other. Love on each other. Love on each other. I can't tell you nothing else but to love on each other. When the pastor comes to me and they give me a pastoralship and they ask me different things, I say, this is what you need to do. Love the people. Just love the people. They might not always love you back, but love the people. God told us to feed his sheep. We are the protectors. And so we got to be mindful. If I don't say nothing else, I pray that I said something to somebody's heart that would challenge them to have a closer relationship with Christ. And to know that no matter what you go through in life, God got you. He said he'll never leave you nor forsake you, but he'll be with you, even to the end of the world. Amen. As everyone stand upon your feet. The door